Hello, friends and clients of JLW Immigration Law Group. I am Jennifer Walker Gates, board certified immigration attorney, and I'm here today to share with you a tool that we use at JLW to help our clients' cases get filed in a way that is correct, complete, and as approvable as possible as soon as the packet goes in the mail. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is an I-485 filing checklist. And we use this form as we are preparing our clients' cases in order to minimize the risk that a case will be rejected from the USCIS mailroom, which can lead to lost filings, weeks of delays, lots of stress, or even a denial of a case for failure to include something important, which can lead to not only loss of time and money and resources, it can also, in this day and age, lead to a notice to appear in immigration court. We don't want that for anyone. So we are going to be sharing tools, this tool in particular, for individuals who are filing I-485 applications to adjust status. We want to make sure whether you're working with us, another attorney, or filing on your own, that you have the resources needed to be successful in your process. So that's what we are going to be doing today. Before I jump into that topic, I want to take a moment and ask you to please share, subscribe, comment, help us get the word out that we are a good resource for the immigrant community to get reliable, trustworthy information about going through the process and completing it successfully. You can do that by subscribing to our channel. We publish videos at least once a week. We are live on Wednesdays at noon answering questions. And then if you have a comment or a question, I do respond to those. Please feel free to leave those underneath the video. Not be able to provide specific legal advice, but I do provide information as best I possibly can to help support and guide people who are going through this system. And then, of course, if you know anyone who needs this information, please do share it with them. If we all work together, we're going to have a much better chance of being successful in our immigration goals and difficult moment in immigration history in the United States. So that's my little spiel on that. Now let's get into the topic of the day. All right, here it is, the adjustment of status filing checklist. I'm going to quickly go through each item on this checklist just to make sure that it makes sense, that it is clear what we're talking about, and kind of explain the reasoning behind it. Hopefully that will help everyone absorb and grasp all of this information a little bit better. Okay, the first item on this checklist is the current form additions. Many of you probably know already that USCIS updates forms. Filing for adjustment of status involves lots of forms, at least an I-485, typically also an I-130, also an I-864, plus also an I-765, and an I-131. All of those forms have additions. You can find the addition of the form at the bottom left-hand corner of the form. And if you don't include in your packet, in your filing packet, the correct and most recent version of the form, your case may be rejected. You can check the most recent form addition and what additions are acceptable now by going to uscis.gov, going to that form's specific page and checking the addition date. That is really, really important to do before you file, just to make sure nothing has shifted, nothing has changed. If something has, the addition date in the bottom left-hand corner of the form will be different from the one that you have printed out and filled out. It is worth redoing the forms to make sure that your case does not get rejected. So please make sure you're filing with the correct form addition. In addition, your case will be rejected if you don't have the right signatures in the correct places on all the forms. So do go through. If you are filing an I-130 and an I-864 with your case, the petitioner is the person that needs to sign those. There is a signature page in each form for the petitioner. And the I-130A, I-485, I-765, and I-131 are all forms that need to be signed by the beneficiary/applicant, the person who's going to receive the benefit if the case is approved. Those forms have signature pages. It's not always necessarily the last page of the packet. Often it's maybe third or fourth from last, but it's important to check to make sure you know where you are supposed to sign and that you signed in the proper place and the proper person signed in the proper place. Names correct on all forms. I know this seems really obvious, but nothing will trigger a request for evidence like having some kind of discrepancy on the forms. In addition, make sure the petitioner information, if you're filing an I-130 with your adjustment of status application, make sure the petitioner information is in most of the I-130 form. We have seen plenty of cases where people tried to file on their own and they included the beneficiary or applicant's information in the part of the I-130 form that belongs to the petitioner. It is really important to be able to distinguish between who is who. A petitioner is the person filing for or on someone else's behalf. They are petitioning the government, asking the government. A petition is another form, another way of saying an ask. So the petitioner is asking the government to let their family member come in. The beneficiary or applicant is the person who's applying for or receiving the benefit. So that's how I have kept them separate. It's really important to make sure you are paying attention when you complete the I-130 and the I-130A in particular, to make sure that you're putting the right person's information in the right part of those forms. Next, dates of birth. Very important to make sure and double check that dates of birth are not incorrect. If you get an approval on your work authorization application through your adjustment of status, that is a wonderful benefit. However, if your date of birth is incorrect on that card, Social Security won't give you your Social Security card. And then you're kind of stuck not being able to work. Likewise, if you have a wrong date of birth on your I-485, your green card, your resident card could be issued with the incorrect date of birth. And again, you'll have challenges updating your driver's license, updating your Social Security card, etc. So please make sure that dates of birth are correct. Next, the A number. If you have an A number, now you may not have one. Some people who are filing for adjustment of status don't have an A number, but if you do have an A number, that is a 9-digit number issued by the Department of Homeland Security. It begins with the letter A and then has 9 digits. Sometimes it has 8 digits, in which case you need to put a 0 at the front to make it 9 complete digits. The A number needs to be correct. That's how immigration identifies you in their system and connects your filing with the rest of any other cases that you have had in their system. Really, really important to make sure that A number is correct so they can consolidate your files as quickly and efficiently as possible. Next, the applicant's mailing address is correct and safe for receiving mail. You are allowed to list a safe mailing address. If you don't live in a place where you can safely receive mail, that's okay. You can use a friend's mailbox. Your attorney's mailbox may serve as a safe mailing address. Any other mailing address is fine as long as it's safe and as long as it's correct. You definitely don't want to make a mistake in the mailing address and have your stuff sent to the wrong place. That could be disastrous. Next, medical exam. Medical exam with I-485 is super important. It's going to be much more efficient for your case to include it when you first file it. You cannot open that sealed envelope. Make sure that envelope remains sealed, closed, everything looks good, and that it's included in your packet. Next, passport applicant photos for the applicant need to always be included with an I-485 filing. And if you are filing an I-130 for a spouse at the same time, you need to have passport photos for both the petitioner and the applicant beneficiary. Next, certified English translations. Super important to make sure any document you're providing that's not in English contains that certified translation. Certified means it's a translation with a certification that says the person who made the translation is fluent in English and the other language and adequately and accurately translated the information. Then they have to sign and date and include their contact information. We have a YouTube video on how to properly certify English translations in your immigration case. Please check it out. And also when you're doing your packet, make sure you have signatures on those certifications, because if you don't, your document could be disallowed, and you could end up getting an RFE for that can create additional delays, or there can just be even rejections if you don't have your basic stuff certified. So make sure the certifications are correct and signed and complete. Mailing label printed with correct USCIS filing address. Super important. Do not send your packet to the wrong USCIS office. That can create so many problems, so many delays, can be lost kind of forever. And so it is really important to check that filing address and make sure it is complete and correct. And make sure your mailing label includes a tracking number. Okay, we're going to talk about that at the very end, but make sure you've got a tracking number on your mailing label. Make sure all the required documents are in the packet. Now we have another video with a checklist of the required documents, the supporting documents. It's too much to go into in this video. This is about the final filing checklist, just to make sure your packet is and double, triple checking that it's all done and good. All those supporting documents are really important. So make sure to watch that video, get that checklist. There's another downloadable checklist with that video that you can use. Criminal disposition documents, however, are something that for sure will trigger an RFE if they are needed and you don't include them. So please make sure that you have certified criminal disposition documents. That means they have a seal from the court or a stamp indicating that the court produced them and provided them to you. Okay? Social media audit. This is a new one that we've just added. This is something that we are doing, just a quick check on our clients' social media accounts to make sure there's nothing showing up on the immediate front pages that makes them seem compromised in any way. We don't want them even at parties with people drinking, ideally, but certainly nothing remotely looking scary, sketchy, illegal, or in any way unflattering. In this age, it's really, really important to make sure that your social media is bland and boring, frankly. That is my best advice for non-citizens applying for adjustment of status in 2025. Next, filing fees. Really super important to make sure those are exactly correct. They can't be too much, they can't be too little. You have to make sure they're exactly correct. Use the USCIS.gov fee calculator to make sure that you know exactly what the filing fees are supposed to be, and then attach them. You can use a check, a money order, or a credit card using Form G1450. Okay, just make sure that you have the correct ones. Otherwise, you will be looking at a rejection. Finally, this is really, really important and the step that most people skip. Make a complete copy of everything that you're turning in, including the mailing label. The reason you want to copy the mailing label is because it has that tracking number. And once you submit your case, you're going to use that tracking number to check USPS.gov and track a case and track a package. Make sure that your package is delivered as expected to USCIS. When you get that confirmation, you're going to print that out. You're going to print out the confirmation or otherwise save it as a PDF so that you can go back later and confirm that your stuff was delivered if you need to. Hopefully that won't be necessary, but just in case, it's really, really good to have that tracking number saved so you can confirm delivery. All right, so that is our final filing checklist for adjustment of status packages. I hope that this is helpful. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us, email us. We'll be happy to share this with you. There is a link down below that you can use to sign up, and we'll provide this to you gladly. Hopefully this will help everyone make sure their cases are proceeding smoothly and quickly. In the meantime, please stay safe. Again, share, subscribe, comment, and reach out to us directly if we can help you with your specific case. If you're a person who doesn't feel comfortable following these kinds of complex instructions, going through checklists, or you just don't want to be bothered with the stress and the headache of preparing and filing your adjustment of status application, we have helped thousands of immigrants and families successfully file for adjustment of status, and we would be honored and pleased to do that for you as well. So please don't hesitate to book an appointment. You can do that right on our website at jlw.law. You can also call us at 512-633-1785, and we'll be glad to get you booked. With that, take good care, be safe, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.